All right. So are you ready to dive into the world of Andrew Tate?
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a fascinating one.
This guy's either like a brilliant entrepreneur or a total master manipulator.
Right. Like, depending on who you ask, you get a completely different answer.
He went from being a kickboxing champ to online infamy.
And now he's caught up in some serious legal trouble.
So that's the question we're tackling today.
Yeah.
Grifter or gifted?
I think what makes Tate so interesting is that he's become this, like, lightning rod for this exact debate.
Yeah.
People are just so fiercely divided on him. To
Right.
some, he's like this straight-talking guru with the secrets to wealth and success. But to others, he's this dangerous misogynist pushing really harmful ideologies.
Exactly. And that's what makes his deep dive so interesting.
Exactly.
We're going to like sift through everything.
Yeah.
His rise to fame,
His controversies.
the allegations.
Oh.
We're going to try to help you figure out where you land on that spectrum of grifter or gifted.
Okay.
So to start unpacking all of this, we have to go back to his beginnings.
Yeah.
Tate goes from a pretty successful kickboxing career
Right.
to the online world, and he just starts amassing millions of followers
Oh, yeah.
through these like super provocative videos
No.
talking about masculinity,
Success rates.
success.
Pulling in something like 4.6 million followers on Instagram alone before they banned him.
That's insane.
Crazy.
Okay, so we know he can grab attention,
Right.
but was it all just like genuine talent?
Yeah.
Or was there something more calculated going on?
That's the question.
And this is where Hustlers University comes into play.
Oh, yeah.
He was selling these courses on making money online, promising like a fast track to financial freedom.
It's a powerful promise,
It is.
especially for young men who maybe feel like traditional paths to success are just not working for them.
Totally.
And this is kind of where the grifter alarm bells start ringing for some people. Hustlers University got a lot of criticism for being basically a multi-level marketing scheme.
Wait, so hold on.
Yeah.
Explain that a little bit. What does that actually mean in this context?
So, like, was he actually teaching valuable skills?
Mhm.
Or was it more about recruiting people to sell his courses?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So what are the critics saying?
The critics are saying that instead of providing real value, Tate was just incentivizing his students to recruit more students.
Oh, wow.
Basically creating this pyramid-like structure
Uh-huh.
where the people at the top benefit the most.
So we're already starting to see this tension
Yes.
between real entrepreneurial spirit
Yeah.
and these like potentially exploitative tactics.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have to address the elephant in the room.
Oh, yeah.
Tate's incredibly controversial statements about women.
Right, and this is where things get really heated.
Yeah,
Tate has said some truly shocking things.
totally.
He said that women belong in the home, that they're men's property, and he's even suggested that women share responsibility if they're raped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's intense.
These statements are obviously super offensive,
Yeah,
really harmful,
definitely.
and they led to him being banned from, like, pretty much every major social media platform.
Yeah.
Facebook,
Instagram.
YouTube,
Oh.
all for violating their hate speech and harassment policies.
And yet his content is still widely shared and discussed.
I know that's what blows my mind.
Yeah.
He's banned everywhere, but he's still everywhere.
Right.
It's crazy.
And this is where the algorithm question comes into play. Like,
Yeah.
how is someone who's banned from all these platforms still able to maintain such a strong online presence? It really shows the power of algorithms and how they can be manipulated to amplify even the most controversial content.
Okay, so we've got this online persona built on provocation.
Yeah.
Well, flashing.
And some really problematic views.
Yeah, and then boom, things take this dark turn in December 2022. Oh.
Tate and his brother Tristan are arrested in Romania
Wow.
on charges of human trafficking,
Oh my gosh.
rape,
Wow.
and forming a criminal gang.
So they're currently under house arrest, awaiting trial.
Yeah.
And the allegations are really serious.
I've heard of this.
Yeah.
They're being accused of using the lover boy technique
Right.
to lure women to Romania
Uh-huh.
with these false promises of love and a relationship.
Exactly.
So I've heard the term lover boy, but to be honest, I don't really understand what it means.
Oh.
Can you break it down for me?
Yeah. So it's this tactic that's often used by traffickers
Okay.
to manipulate and exploit vulnerable people.
Uh-huh.
They basically pretend to be romantically interested.
Right.
They shower the victim with like attention and affection. They
Yeah.
try to build trust.
Mhm.
And then once they have that control,
Oh, wow.
they exploit it for their own gain.
So in this case, the prosecution is saying that the Tates used this method to force women into working in their webcam business. So are we dealing with a charismatic entrepreneur who just takes risks and pushes boundaries?
Yeah.
Or is it something much darker?
A calculated scheme to exploit these vulnerable women? It's a crucial question for us to try to answer.
For sure, as we figure out grifters or gifted.
Right.
And we need to carefully look at the evidence here.
Absolutely.
It's important to note that Tate denies all the allegations against him, both in Romania and from previous cases in the UK.
Okay.
He's saying that the women involved willingly worked for him.
Right.
And that these accusations are all made up.
Yeah, his lawyer is claiming that the prosecution just doesn't have the evidence. And they're basically using Tate's online persona to paint him as the villain.
But the allegations are so specific and disturbing.
Right.
It's hard to just dismiss them as totally baseless.
I know.
And then there's this separate case in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
With those 4 women who accused Tate of sexual assault.
Right.
They're going after him in a civil lawsuit. So wait, there's a UK case too.
Yeah, there is.
Tell me more.
This case goes all the way back to 2015.
Oh, wow.
When 4 women reported Tate to the police,
Okay.
accusing him of sexual assault.
So what happened?
The police did a 4-year investigation.
4 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
But in the end, the Crown Prosecution Service decided not to prosecute.
Hold on.
Yeah.
They investigated for 4 years and then just decided not to do anything.
I know, it seems strange.
What was their reasoning?
Officially, they said there wasn't enough evidence to get a conviction.
No.
But the lawyer who's representing the women is arguing that there was enough evidence and is questioning how the police handled the whole case.
Really?
Yeah, she thinks the decision not to prosecute was like a failure of the justice system.
So we've got these parallel legal battles going on with these conflicting stories and accusations flying back and forth.
Right.
It's a messy situation, to say the least.
It definitely is.
It's hard to know what to believe.
Yeah. It really is challenging to try to separate fact from fiction here.
And to figure out where the truth actually lies.
Absolutely. Welcome back to our deep dive into Andrew Tate.
So I'm still trying to wrap my head around this whole thing.
Yeah.
Someone who's banned from all these platforms can still be this influential.
It's wild, isn't it?
It's like he's figured out how to game the system.
Right.
But how?
This is where that Sky News investigation gets really interesting.
Okay.
They wanted to understand how Tate's content was still reaching young people, even with the bans.
Yeah.
So they made this fake account pretending to be a teenage boy.
So on YouTube and stuff?
Yeah, YouTube, TikTok, the whole thing.
Okay, so they set up this fake account, and then what?
So did they have to actively search for Tate's content?
Yeah.
Or did it just show up on its own?
Exactly.
That's the crazy part.
What happened?
They didn't have to look for it at all.
Really?
His content was being recommended to them left and right. Yeah, it was popping up in their suggested videos.
Wow.
In their feeds.
And this was a brand new account?
Totally brand new.
So the algorithms had no data to suggest that this fake teenager would be interested in this stuff.
Right. But they were still pushing Tate's content.
That's so disturbing.
It is.
It makes you think these platforms aren't really doing a good job at filtering out harmful content.
Yeah, that's a big concern.
Especially when you're dealing with someone as controversial as Tate.
Definitely.
So how is this happening?
It all comes down to how these algorithms actually work.
Okay.
They're designed to keep people engaged, to keep them clicking and watching.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter if the content is controversial or even harmful. If it's getting a lot of attention, the algorithms are going to push it.
So it's like this vicious cycle.
Yeah.
The more outrageous Tate content is, the more attention it gets.
The more the algorithms promote it.
And the more people see it.
Exactly.
And then, of course, you've got his fans sharing his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Which just spreads it even further.
It's like a runaway train.
And it makes you wonder, are these platforms doing enough to be responsible?
It's a valid question.
Are they prioritizing profits over user safety?
That's the concern.
It's a tough balance, isn't it?
It really is.
Because I get it.
Yeah.
They want to promote engaging content.
Of course.
But you have to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Especially when you're dealing with potentially dangerous stuff like Tate's pushing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so back to the grifter question.
Yeah.
If he's knowingly exploiting these algorithms, using all this outrage and controversy just to get followers, is he actually trying to help anyone?
Or is he just manipulating people for his own benefit?
It's hard to say for sure.
Definitely.
So let's move on to the Romanian case.
Okay.
We left off with Tate and his brother under house arrest, waiting for trial.
So what's the latest?
Exactly what's going on.
So after being held in detention for 3 months,
Wow.
they got moved to house arrest.
Oh.
But they could only stay in Bucharest and the surrounding county.
Got it.
But then, in late August, a court eased up on those restrictions.
So are they free now?
Not totally.
Oh.
They're still under house arrest,
Right.
meaning they can't leave the country.
Yeah.
But they are allowed to travel freely within Romania.
Okay, so they can move around
Exactly.
while they're waiting for the trial.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds like things are going pretty slowly.
They are.
Have they set a trial date yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
The court has said there's enough evidence to go to trial, but no specific date yet.
And of course, the Tates are appealing this.
Oh, yeah.
They're still saying they're innocent.
And they're challenging all the evidence.
So the legal battles just keep going, both in Romania and in the UK.
And speaking of the UK,
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier that they approved the extradition.
Right.
So does that mean they'll be sent back to the UK to face that civil lawsuit?
I was wondering about that.
It's not quite that simple.
Oh, okay.
The extradition is on hold
Yeah.
until the Romanian case is finished.
Gotcha.
So it could be a while before they actually go back to the UK.
And that UK case is a civil case, right?
Yes.
Not a criminal trial.
Correct.
So the consequences are totally different.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's a waiting game on both fronts.
For now.
But even with all this going on, Tate's still got this massive online presence.
Yeah, he does.
It makes you think,
What's that?
is he actually benefiting from being banned?
Oh, interesting.
Like, does it play into his whole anti-establishment image
Yeah.
and make him even more appealing to certain people?
That's a really good point.
It's possible, right?
It is.
It's like these bans have backfired.
Yeah.
He's become this martyr
Yeah.
for those who see him as a victim of censorship or like political correctness gone wild.
It definitely adds another layer to this whole grifter versus gifted debate.
No kidding.
It's a weird paradox.
Yeah.
The more they try to push him to the fringes, the stronger his appeal seems to get.
For some people, at least.
For sure.
Now, something I've been wondering about.
Yeah, what's that?
Why Romania?
Oh, that's a good one.
Like, why would someone with his global reach choose to live there?
Yeah.
It's not exactly like a hot spot for influencers.
Right.
So what's the deal?
He's given a few different explanations.
Okay.
Some more believable than others.
Like what?
He said that Romania is less corrupt than Western countries.
Oh, really?
Yeah, especially the UK. He also likes their traditional values and their strong sense of national identity.
But isn't Romania known for its own corruption problems?
It is.
It seems kind of ironic
Yeah.
that he'd criticize other countries for being corrupt while living in a place with its own issues.
Right, and some critics have said he's romanticizing Romania, ignoring their own complex history and social problems.
And here's the kicker.
What's that?
Tate himself has admitted to participating in corruption in Romania.
Oh, wow.
He's bragged about bribing law enforcement
No way.
to avoid scrutiny of his business.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So he's admitting to bribery?
Yeah.
Doesn't that completely contradict his whole Romania's less corrupt argument?
It's totally hypocritical.
Right.
So why is he really living in Romania?
It makes you wonder.
Is it just calculated grifter behavior?
Yeah.
Or is there something else going on?
Like, is he just exploiting the system there?
Yeah.
Because he thinks he can manipulate it to his advantage.
Is there a genuine belief system driving his actions?
It's hard to say for sure.
It really is.
But no matter his real motives,
yeah,
his decision to live in Romania just adds another layer to this whole story.
absolutely.
It shows he's willing to operate outside the mainstream, to go to places where he thinks he can thrive, even if it means navigating a system that's known for corruption.
And a lack of transparency.
It definitely adds to the mystery.
It does.
Okay, so we've got to address the big one.
Yeah.
Tate's views on women.
Yeah. His statements have been condemned as misogynistic.
And harmful.
And it's important to remember,
What's that?
his views aren't just like abstract opinions.
Right.
They have real-world consequences.
They contribute to a culture that disrespects women. And it might even encourage some of his followers to engage in harmful behavior.
It's scary.
It is.
He said that women belong in the home, that they're men's property, and that they share responsibility for being raped.
It's awful.
It's appalling.
These statements have sparked outrage and condemnation.
And rightfully so.
Exactly.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Why are these views resonating with some people?
You're right.
Especially young men.
It's a good question.
Is it because they actually believe this stuff? Or are they just being influenced by Tate's charisma?
And his ability to, like, tap into their insecurities.
That's what I keep coming back to.
Yeah.
It's unsettling to think that these views are so common.
It is.
But maybe some guys are drawn to Tate's message because they feel lost or disillusioned.
And they're looking for something to believe in.
Exactly.
Like a sense of belonging and purpose.
So for some, it's not even about agreeing with everything he says.
Right.
It's more about feeling seen, understood.
Like they finally found someone who gets them.
Someone who can give them a roadmap.
Yeah.
In a world that feels chaotic.
That's the danger.
Yeah.
Because mixed in with the charisma and the motivational stuff are these really toxic ideologies.
Yeah, especially his views on women.
He keeps reinforcing this idea that power and control are the goals.
Okay.
And that women are just obstacles.
Or tools to be used.
Exactly.
And that's where the repulsion comes in for a lot of people.
For sure.
It clashes with our values.
Of equality.
Respect.
Yeah.
But if we just focus on condemning those views, we might miss a chance to understand why some people are drawn to them in the first place.
We need to understand that vulnerability.
Exactly.
It's like treating the symptoms, but not addressing the underlying condition.
So how do we counter Tate's influence?
We have to offer alternative narratives that speak to those same needs.
For purpose. A sense of control.
Right.
But in a healthier way.
In a positive way.
Yeah.
We can't just shut him down.
And ban him.
That's not enough.
We need to offer something better.
We need to give young people different options.
Options that don't involve harmful ideologies.
Exactly.
So this brings up a bigger question.
What's that?
In this world of influencers and algorithms, how do we tell the difference between a real visionary and a con artist?
That's the million-dollar question.
It really is.
It's about critical thinking. Don't just take someone's word for it. No matter how confident they seem, look at their actions.
Right.
Look at their track record.
Do they back up their words with their actions?
Exactly.
Are they walking the walk?
Are they really trying to help others?
Or are they just out for themselves?
And be wary of anyone who's offering easy solutions to complex problems.
I think we all want to believe in those quick fixes.
I know.
Especially when they're presented with so much charisma.
Yeah.
But those shortcuts usually lead to trouble.
Dead ends or worse.
So finally, think about your own vulnerabilities. What are your unmet needs?
What are your insecurities?
Are they making you susceptible to manipulation?
If you're feeling lost,
are frustrated,
powerless,
don't fall for someone who's just going to use that against you.
Find support from people you trust.
Friends,
family,
mentors. Don't let someone take advantage of you.
Exactly.
So we've covered a lot.
What are legal cases?
Algorithms, Romania.
Misogyny.
This obsession with money and hustling.
It's a lot.
It's a complex picture.
It really is.
And it leaves us with more questions than answers.
That's the Andrew Tate enigma.
Okay, so welcome back to the final part of our deep dive on Andrew Tate.
I feel like we've been all over the place with this guy.
I know, right? From kickboxing rings to Romanian courtrooms to the dark side of algorithms.
We've seen it all.
And we've had to confront some pretty disturbing views along the way.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride trying to make sense of Tate's world.
For sure.
So for this last part, I think it's time to zoom out a little.
Okay, I like that.
Let's move away from the specific details and try to see the bigger picture.
Let's do it.
What's the psychology behind all of this?
Exactly.
Why is this guy so incredibly polarizing?
Yeah, because it's not just about the people who love him, right?
Right.
The hate for this guy is off the charts.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he triggers this visceral reaction in people.
Totally.
Either they're totally devoted or they absolutely despise him.
I think what's really interesting here is that both of those reactions might come from the same place.
Oh, really?
Tate's charisma.
Huh. Okay, so explain that.
He's really good at commanding attention.
Yeah.
Speaking with authority and offering these simple solutions to problems that are actually really complex.
I'll admit.
Yeah.
Even I can see he's got charisma.
Yeah.
But some people find him absolutely repulsive.
Right.
So how can charisma alone explain those extreme reactions?
Oh, it's not just the charisma itself. It's what he does with it.
How he uses it.
Exactly.
So give me an example.
Imagine you're a young guy,
Okay.
maybe feeling a little lost,
Yeah.
unsure about the future.
Mm-hmm.
All the traditional paths to success seem impossible.
Right.
And social media is constantly bombarding you with these images of wealth and happiness.
And you feel like you're failing.
Exactly.
Like you're not measuring up.
And then Tate comes in with this hyper-masculine persona,
Right.
this message of self-reliance, dominance.
Take control.
Yeah, he's not just selling a lifestyle.
He's selling a solution.
Exactly, a solution to that feeling of powerlessness.
So for some people,
Yeah.
it's not even about agreeing with everything he says.
It's about feeling understood.
Seen.
Like someone finally gets them.
And is giving them a path
A
forward.
roadmap in a world that feels chaotic.
But that's the danger, isn't it?
It is.
Because mixed in with all that charisma and motivational talk
Right.
are some really toxic ideas.
Especially his views on women.
It's like he's reinforcing this idea that power and control are the only things that matter. And that women are either obstacles or tools to be used on the path to getting those things.
And that's why so many people are repulsed by him.
Right.
It goes against everything we believe in.
Kids are written.
Respect.
Consent.
But we can't just condemn those views and leave it at that.
What do you mean?
We have to try to understand why some people are so drawn to them.
Otherwise, we're not getting to the root of the problem,
Exactly. It's like treating the symptoms.
but not the disease.
If we want to actually counter Tate's influence,
Yeah.
we need to offer different stories.
Stories that address those same needs,
The need for purpose,
a longing,
a sense of agency.
but without the harmful stuff.
Right, we need to give people healthier ways to find those things.
I think this brings up a really important question.
What's that?
In this world of influencers and algorithms,
Yeah.
how can we tell the difference between someone who's genuinely trying to help
Mm.
and someone who's just a con artist?
That's the heart of the grifter or gifted question.
It really is.
I think it comes down to critical thinking.
Okay, so what do you mean by that?
Don't just blindly accept what someone is telling you,
Even if they seem super confident.
especially if they seem super confident.
Oh, God.
Look at their actions.
Mm-hmm.
Look at their past.
Do they actually do what they say they're going to do?
Exactly. Are they walking the walk?
Are they really trying to help others?
Or are they just focused on making themselves rich and famous?
And be careful of anyone who offers quick and easy solutions.
Oh, yeah. Those are always red flags.
It's tempting to believe there are shortcuts to success.
Especially when they're presented with so much charisma.
But those shortcuts usually lead to nowhere.
Oh, or worse.
And finally,
Yeah.
don't forget to check in with yourself.
What do you mean?
Think about your own vulnerability,
Okay.
your needs.
Your insecurities?
Are those things making you more likely to be manipulated?
That's a good point.
If you're feeling lost or frustrated or powerless,
Yeah.
don't let someone use that against you.
Find people you trust.
Friends, mentors, build a support system.
You don't have to go through this alone.
So as we wrap up this deep dive on Andrew Tate,
Yeah.
I think we're left with a lot to think about.
For sure.
This whole saga is a cautionary tale
Definitely.
about the power of charisma
The dangers of quick fixes.
and what happens when ambition goes unchecked.
But it's also a reminder that we have the power to choose
To choose who we follow,
who we believe.
what values we embrace,
By being critical thinkers.
by knowing our own weaknesses.
And by holding these influencers accountable for their actions.
We can navigate this crazy world with a little more awareness and a lot more resilience.
I love that.
So we haven't given you a clear answer to the grifter or gifted question,
Right.
but we've given you the information to decide for yourself.
You get to be the judge.
Where do you stand on Andrew Tate?